we've declared our independence. In doing so, we've chosen to be guided by those values we hold highest: self-reliance, the audacity to dare great things, and a commitment to lifelong learning. Our destiny is our own. We are Gulf Shores City Schools. And we're here to make waves.
Matt, that was almost exactly 3 years ago tonight that we unveiled that video. It was about 3 years and about 20 pounds ago that we were right here on this very stage.
20 pounds ago for you or me?
Let's just leave it at that. How many of you folks were here on 3/12 of 2019? Wow, great. Thank you for being here once again. We've got a just as exciting night tonight as we did back then. You know, when we introduced the first wave, we promised you that we would get started on the next wave and a 10-year master plan. And that's exactly what tonight is all about. I'm Kevin Corcoran, president of the Gulf Shores City Board of Education. Superintendent Dr. Matt Aiken will be your presenters tonight. So sit down, grab a seat, and we are going to get started right away. You know, as we gather tonight in the Erie Meyer Civic Center, we'd be remiss if we didn't recognize so many of the people that made Gulf Shores the city that we all have grown to love. And I'm talking about folks like the Meyer family, like George and Erie Meyer, Claude O'Connor, who's been instrumental in education. I heard Claude's here with us tonight. Thank you for being here, Claude. We look back, Mayor David Bodenhammer and all the past councils, and our current Mayor Robert Kraft and the entire City of Gulf Shores City Council, who were determined to provide you with the very best educational opportunities for our children. But most importantly, all of you that 5 years ago approached City Hall and you made the bold request that we improve education here in the city. And the mayor and council listened, and they haven't stopped listening ever since. It's really an exciting night. So let's recognize our current city and school leaders. I saw Mayor Kraft is here with us tonight. Mayor, there in the back, Mayor Pro Tem Philip Harris is here. Councilman Jason Deichen is here. I saw Councilman Gary Synak with us. I'm not sure if Councilman Steve Jones and Joe Garris are here. Let's hear it for our city leaders. Our city administrator, Steve Griffin, has been instrumental in this whole process, is with us, and we can't thank him enough, as well as Blake Phelps, Lee Jones, and so many others, Noel Hand, so many others involved with the city for bringing us to where we are to allow us to be on this stage tonight. Thank you.
Hey, Kevin, speaking of city leaders, Grant Brown was in here with us while we were practicing, and thank goodness he was correcting our errors.
I can't believe you. I hate it when they stay for the second show, though. I really do. And thanks, Mom, for leading that applause. My 95-year-old mom's with us this evening. Hey, Mom. Our Gulf Shores City Board of Education is here. Vice President Dr. Nikki Gotcho. Where are you, Nikki? Stand up for us, will you, please? Kelly Walker. Kelly Walker's with us. This is Dale Jernigan right here in the front. And Frank Malone is also here with us. Thank you, Frank. And I also saw our founding board member as well, Dr. Ralph Gold. Ralph, where are you? Thanks for being here. You know, Matt, it's incredible what you've accomplished with your system in just 3 short years.
We've got a great team, Kevin, and let me recognize those if you don't mind. Stephanie Harrison is here. She's our assistant superintendent. She's a valuable part of our team. Chad Green is also here. And I know that our principals are here, Cindy Veazey from the high school, Kyle McCartney from the middle school, and Dr. Alicia Early from the elementary school. Marcus is also with her. And I'm going to leave off if I keep naming names. I know about 150 of the employees memorized alphabetically, but I'm afraid I'll forget the other 100.
Actually, if you're an employee at Gulf Shores City Schools, we'd love for you to stand right now so we can thank you properly. Anybody that's an employee. You know, Matt, all that was on my slide, wasn't it?
It was.
Thanks for picking me up. All right, let's start again. Hey, Matt! It's incredible what you've been able to accomplish in just 3 short years.
It is incredible that we've accomplished together as a team. And you think about the progress. 3 years ago, when we were standing on this stage, there was a lot of work to be done. And over just a few months, the city had plans, they had architects in place, they had contractors in place, and remember all the work that was done over that summer. The city of Gulf Shores has been more than just a partner. They've been like our parents, you know. They keep investing and keep investing in the success of this school system. So an investment of over $20 million in 3 short years has given us this. We have new car lines. Remember when the car lines used to back up like all the way to the Tacky Jacks and that place across the street from Tacky Jacks?
Not really. My kids rode the cheese wagon.
But so new car lines, new canopies, the campuses don't look the same. Trees, green grass, it looks so much different. We've also invested in an athletic center at the high school, which is truly amazing, and we have a STEAM addition at the elementary school that's underway. So there has been a lot accomplished in 3 years.
Matt, you know what else we revealed on this night almost 3 years ago? Our purpose and our core values, the very foundation that provides for our existence and our compass moving forward. Let's take a listen.
The purpose of Gulf Shores City Schools is to provide engaging learning environments, rigorous academics, and to incorporate the unique resources of our community to empower all students to achieve success.
We believe in promoting rigorous, comprehensive, and relevant curriculum that prepares students to become productive citizens and lifelong learners.
We believe in developing self-reliance by incorporating the student's physical, mental, emotional, and social well-being into the teaching learning environment.
We believe in fostering inclusive, engaging members of society and encouraging critical and creative thinking.
We believe in recruiting and emboldening the best and brightest faculty and staff and rewarding innovation and collaboration.
We believe in instilling a sense of pride in our schools by engaging the Gulf Shores community in the educational experience.
That's the board that just last Thursday approved the master plan that we're presenting tonight. But what the heck is a master plan, Matt?
So Kevin, let me explain. So a master plan is really a roadmap for the future. We look at our existing conditions. We look at data like capacity. How many students do we have? How many classrooms can we put those students in? We also look at the physical spaces and their educational adequacy. Will our classrooms give us or give our teachers the ability to teach like they know, like they want to teach? And then finally, a vision for the future. So the process we followed, probably the most important step, is we chose a design team. We chose a team of architects from across the country, across the state, and made sure that we picked a local architect too. So that team consists of GMC, DLR, Walcott Adams, and then we also had Volkert Construction that came in and helped with the process. The next thing that happened is we established a core team. So that core team was made up of city leaders, school board members, and school system administrators. Good job, Kevin. So our core team goes back to that city and school partnership, and the core team consists of Mayor Robert Kraft, Mayor Pro Tem Philip Harris, Councilman Jason Dykin, Steve Griffin, Blake Phelps, Lee Jones. I'm not sure if they knew how much time they were committing to, Kevin, because it was really a tough process that we went to, and it was worth it in the end, but it was a lot of work. From the school system side, Of course, you were on it, but we also had Kelly Walker, myself, Dr. Stephanie Harrison, Chad Green, and Cindy Veazey. Core team was really a valuable part of this. Would the core team please stand? So Kevin, I did the hard work. I explained what a master plan is. You tell me what it isn't.
What a master plan is not, it's not the final design of new facilities. It's not a final budget. It's not even construction estimates or floor plans. What it is the plan that gives us the confidence to move forward with those next steps.
So Kevin, one of the first steps, remember, is looking at our existing facilities, and we did that, and we knew that even though we were going through this process to see how we needed to grow, what we needed to refurbish, if we needed new schools, we knew we had some immediate needs. And those immediate needs included HVAC systems. If you're a high school teacher, you realize that, right? HVAC system. You don't have to clap for that one, but you can. Thank you, Cindy. Lighting upgrades across the district, roofing upgrades, and also solar installations. So that has already started. It's a $10 million capital project. The nice thing about it is we're guaranteed at least 33% in savings over 20 years, and that's $6.4 million. So for $10 million in improvements, we're only paying about $4 million. So that's a good start to this master planning process.
It is exciting. And if you've driven on campus recently, you've seen the solar flowers and the solar tree in front of the high school. When those are finally up and fully functional, they will track the sun and collect solar energy throughout the day. There will be big digital screens inside the school buildings that will teach the students about solar energy and about conservation. How many watts are being produced by those outlets. They will also charge power stations for kids to charge their phones and iPads and devices like that. So
Yes.
not only is it efficient, it's also a learning opportunity.
Yeah, exactly right. They're really learning tools. And so we want to develop a generation that understands how important it is to be sustainable and to protect our environment. Clap for that, too. That's pretty important. So Kevin, let's talk through the master plan process. So we talked about a design team. We also talked about the core team and what their role was going to be. So let's talk through the process. You talk about stakeholders.
Well, I can tell you, as members of the core team, we knew it was vital that we gather as much input as possible from all stakeholders across the spectrum of Gulf Shores. For it to be a successful plan, we needed everybody to participate. And with nearly 800 respondents, and in surveys and in in-depth small group meetings, we heard from parents, students, faculty, staff, community leaders, community members at large. And with the help of our skilled advisors, we listened. We heard their individual and collective thoughts and their vision for the future of education in Gulf Shores. Because at every school board meeting we tell you, this is your city and it's your schools. And without your input, we can't be the very best that we can be. So we're grateful for everybody that participated in any function in those surveys and everything else that we did. And with that, we formed the master plan that we are very proud to present to you this evening.
So some of our most important stakeholders are our teachers and our students. Now, teachers will tell me right now, if I give them the opportunity, that too many times they're asked to do something and they had no input. And we did not want that to happen with this plan. So we made sure that we received input from teachers through interviews, through workshops. We really wanted to know what teachers thought about our facilities and what the facilities of the future needed to look like. But teachers know that well, but I promise you the students that are in here tonight will say, nobody ever asked me how I want to learn, and we did that. So let's start with hearing from a middle school student, and then we'll hear from a high school student first, and then we'll take a look into the middle school student process of how we gain their input. So let's first start with a high school student, Kevin.
Your clicker or mine?
Let's do yours.
I go to Gulf Shores High School. I'm on the volleyball team, and I have attended 2 architect meetings, and I think they're both very beneficial and are really going to make a big difference in our program with the new high school. And I think a lot more open spaces should be implemented and more break areas and maybe more breaks throughout the day.
Wow, what a great smile she had, huh?
Yeah. Thank goodness we're not wearing masks tonight.
Amen.
It was really interesting that she said more open spaces. And, you know, she got in the little dig about we need more breaks, Cindy, more breaks in the day. But don't we all need more breaks? We need more time to just take a deep breath and relax. So our next video is one of our architects who's meeting with middle school students and describing what they're going to do.
Research on really cool schools. If I was going to create a really cool high school for me, what would that look like?
Do you hear the question, Kevin? If I was going to create a really cool high school for me, what would that look like? And that's important for these group of kids, right? Because they'll be in that new high school.
What is this cool you mentioned?
Yeah, I know. Cool is not cool anymore.
I'm cool with that.
Okay. And then finally, let's hear from one of our superstar teachers, Miss Courtney Creel, talking about the process.
Phase 2 is going to be so exciting for the Gulf Shores City School System. It's very rare where the people in charge come and ask us, the teachers, what we want to see, what our ideas are for the future of education. Gulf Shores City Schools did exactly that last year in the planning of this new phase, and we can't wait to see how it turns out.
Thank you, Courtney. Good job. So the other thing we did in talking with students and teachers is we asked them, what should learning look like? We wanted to know about facilities. Should they be open spaces, as a high school student mentioned? But what should their learning day look like? So this is Erica, an elementary student, and her future learning, notice she doesn't have any lecturing there, but she wants time to create, to do experience and inquiring learning and active learning. So our design team took all of that data and put it together in helping us form the master plan. You want to talk about the middle and high school students?
You know, in middle and high school, we ask the students to take it to a whole nother level. We ask them to not only talk about the learning environment in the future, but their current learning day and compare and contrast. This is Jack. He's a 7th grader, and here's some of the things he had in mind. He was interested in lecturing going down. He didn't eliminate it, but he's interested in lecturing going down. He's looking for more collaboration. He's looking to experience. You know, this summer we learned from education experts from around the world that a child can't really know what they're interested in without being exposed to it. And that's things we're doing under Dr. Stephanie Harrison with innovation. We're trying to expose students to as many opportunities as possible so they can find something. Because you know, if you find something you love, you'll never work another day in your life. So Jack's onto that already. He wants to be inquiring. He wants the question he wants to know. He wants those things answered. He's interested in being more creative. He's interested in presenting. You know, we're going to talk about that in a minute too at the elementary STEAM lab. But these are all things that we found so intuitive. And I know that Gary Owen and Brad Krotz and their whole group would tell you from the design team that they were thoroughly impressed with the engagement of our students. From the very youngest to the seniors who are never going to experience some of these changes, how involved they were in talking about the process and what was important to them. And it's just something we haven't been able to experience in the past. You know, talk about teachers being heard like Courtney talked about. It reminds me, years past, under our predecessor, our teachers would vote on textbooks they were interested in using. Well, they took our 100, 200 teachers and put that into the 4,000 employees from Baldwin County Public Schools and often didn't get the textbooks they wanted. So we were giving Michelangelo a paint roller and expecting the Sistine Chapel. So Dr. Harrison put together core teams, 2 members of every grade level, and you all got the picture textbooks, didn't you, Stephanie? And that really helped. When teachers are using the tools they want to use, the outcome is incredible. So that's what we're experiencing here. Let's look at Riker. He's a junior. All right, he thinks his day right now, Cindy, is composed of 70% lecturing. As I stand here and lecture to you, I'm saying lecturing is not good. So let's think about that for a minute. But look what he wants. He wants creativity to jump tenfold to 20%. He wants to be creative in what he's doing. And yesterday we just opened the Volkert Applied Science Lab, and kids are getting to it. We watched them fly drones. We watched them make robots. We saw all the things they were doing. They're being creative. They want to experience things once again. You know, we're building an airplane out at the airport. We have a 2-year curriculum where students are actually building an airplane that the FAA will approve and will fly, and we'll take a volunteer to be part of that maiden flight right now. All right, there's one. Dr. Gottschall, she said yes. But collaboration, look at that, inquiring, experiencing. But I can tell you that we're going to tell you that our current classroom setup is not always inviting to these types of environments. So we listened long and hard when these students said that. So where are my high school teachers? No more lecturing, okay? All right.
I was a high school teacher, and there is some lecturing required, right? It can't all be breaks during the day.
I get it. I get it. Like McDonald's, you deserve a break today, huh? Like their McFlurry machine, for example.
I don't know where you're going. I don't know where you're going with that, but let's just move on.
I was talking about their McFlurry machine.
okay.
It's broken every day. You know, just 6 years ago, it was projected by Baldwin County Board of Education that 9th through 12th high school students in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach combined would dwindle by the year 2026 to 739 students. Here we are in 2022, and that number is almost 1,200 students, at about 1,180 students. So thank God we did what we did when we did.
You're right.
All right, Matt, fastest growing city in Alabama and one of the fastest growing cities in all of the Southeast. How do you make a plan come together with that kind of hurdle?
Yeah, so let's talk about capacity. Obviously, as you mentioned, student enrollment is growing, population 56% increase in this town, so we have to be progressive and have a plan that's going to hold all of these students. So we do have a plan. So the first step we already mentioned is a current STEAM lab is under construction. Mac, it's going to be done by the end of this school year. We're going to show you pictures in a minute. It looks great. But also we have a second wing planned at the elementary school. I just saw a contract or a draft contract come across my email today, so that's going to happen quickly as well. The city is committed to getting that second addition built quickly. And then finally, the elementary school is going to eventually grow and take over the entire middle school campus. And for that to happen, Mr. McCartney, middle school's got to go somewhere, right? And so we're going to build a new high school. We'll get to that at the very end. And our middle school is going to go to the high school campus. So we have a plan to handle that capacity. And so let's talk about that plan.
Don't tell me, tell them.
One thing to think about, though, as we looked at schools across the country, which we're going to go into in a minute, it's more than just adding rectangular boxes and desks for students in classrooms. We want to create the best environment for future learning. So that's what we're going to talk you through. Capacity, we have to look at student enrollment, but equally important, we have to look at our classrooms. And will they enable our teachers to teach like they want to teach and our students to learn like we know they need to learn? Kevin, we did our research. So the core team that we had stand, we went all over the country looking at some of the most innovative schools in the country. We looked at outdoor education. We looked at collaborative spaces. We looked at learning stairs. I didn't even know what learning stairs were. We looked at gymnasiums. We looked at fine arts facilities. We really did our research and our homework.
Indeed we did. Matt, you know, we visited elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools from as far away as Phoenix, Arizona, Joplin, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Baton Rouge. And we didn't just look at the bricks and mortar. We met with principals and superintendents and administrators, and they talked about how they take these fabulous spaces and turn them into a curriculum that is exciting, engaging, and producing great results. We took dozens of pages of notes. Cindy alone took 40 pages of notes, I think, just in Phoenix alone. She came back with so many ideas. We took hundreds of photographs, and we brought them back as a core team, and we were truly inspired to glean the very best ideas from each one of those campuses. We were told ahead of time by our design team, there is no perfect Gulf Shores High School out there. I can't take you to Phoenix and say, let's just duplicate this, because we're unique, and we certainly want our school to be unique and to match our environment, our surroundings, and our core values. So with that, we took so many good ideas. We came back from there. Blake, Lee, it may have been freezing in Kansas City, but the ideas we came back were red hot.
They were hot, and what we realized is we want our facilities to align with our core values, our goals, and our aspirations. That's different than just building rectangles with classrooms in them. We needed our facilities, I'm going to say it again, to align with our core values, with our goals, to what we wanted our students to aspire to. So that's what this plan is all about. So let's start, Kevin, with the elementary plan. So the picture you're looking at really tells the story of our three phases. The first phase, as I've mentioned a couple of times, is a future classroom building just to the east of the new STEAM building. Phase 2 that's sitting over here on top of these houses really has nothing to do with those, but it is talking about upgrading the classrooms in the 100, 200, 300, and 400 buildings, and upgrading the furniture in those classrooms. So that's Phase 1 and Phase 2. And then Phase 3 is one of the most important aspects, and that's the future connector that connects all those buildings together. So elementary teachers, you know how much fun it is to go from the 100 building to the 200 building to the 300 building or vice versa, or you know the concern you have sometimes of sending one of your students out and they have to go outdoors. So we're going to solve that problem with this connector that goes down the center of the new campus. And this is a little bit better view of that. Makes me wish I was an architect, Mac, that I could draw something like this. So you see the future connector is more than just a hallway. It'll be a learning space. So it's really exciting when you consider the future of Gulf Shores Elementary School. So Kevin, let's talk about the STEAM edition.
Let's do it.
We've talked about it many times, and I've had the pleasure of going in just recently. Y'all, you're going to be amazed. And so when you first step in, there's a lobby, but what I want you to notice, besides the really cool aquarium, is the learning spaces. So we take advantage of the entire building, not just the classrooms, but the hallways, the lobby, to have learning areas, whether it's small group, individual, whatever it may be. This is a look down the hallway, looking east in the STEAM edition. You'll see the garage doors that raise up in classrooms. That will be up to teachers if they want to work with another class or they have students moving between classes. And then we also have reading nooks or personalized learning areas between every classroom. Kevin, this is one of your favorite spots.
This is. You know, I've taken a tour of this new STEAM edition. It truly is incredible, and we are so grateful for our design team and the vision. This is going to give everybody a taste of learning in the future. When we complete all these improvements, this is going to be the norm. Not spectacular, but it's going to be the norm of what we're going to see across all 13 grades. So it truly is incredible. This shows the presentation area, where elementary school age children are going to have the opportunity to practice their oratory skills and their presentation skills to their peers in a close and safe environment. But they're going to make presentations from here, and those students will all be able to sit in that amphitheater style. And right next to it is a gorgeous aquarium that has all come together so nicely. And that's going to contain both marine life and wildlife that is indigenous to our area right here. It's going to represent nature that we are so enthralled with and so blessed to have in Gulf Shores.
Kevin, you were just trying to get indigenous worked into that paragraph somewhere. Is that a Wordle? Was that in your Wordle today?
Wordle is 5 letters, Matt. Indigenous is like 6. Anyway, Matt, I heard a rumor that students are actually going to be learned to fly drones in this STEAM edition. Can that be true? Drones?
I promise you it's true. Elementary students, we have Hillary McKinney is our new STEAM teacher at the elementary school. They are doing amazing things with coding and robots, and she can't wait to teach them to fly drones indoors. The ceiling's 20 feet tall inside. That's going to be cool. So let me review the elementary plan one more time. Phase 1 is a classroom addition. Phase 2 are renovations of existing buildings, adding furniture, and then Phase 3 is that important main street that goes up through the center of the campus. So Kevin, lastly, before we leave the elementary school, this is a proposed, I have to emphasize proposed floor plan for the elementary school, but I want everybody to just grasp what the school will look like when it takes over the middle school campus. So obviously we'll have plenty of room for classrooms, but we also have room to expand. One of the things that we're most excited about, and we can't promise this yet, but we think we're going to have room, I actually know we're going to have room for a pre-K center that could be in the 100 building. So we might even double the number of pre-K classes that we have right now. We know how important that is for educational purposes and to our parents and community.
Anybody on that pre-K waiting list? Huh? Chad, how about you? Our own CSFO got put on a waiting list for pre-K because we just have so many folks that were interested in doing it. But that would be great. You know, that head start that they get in pre-K is such a big help to our kindergarten, our first and second grade teachers. It gives them a jump start, and we really want to do more of that. So we're excited about that.
So Kevin, let's jump to from the elementary to the middle school.
Well, if the elementary school takes over the middle school, what's the plan for the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, high school's going to move to a new campus that we will look at in just a few minutes, and then the middle school is going to take over what will be the former high school campus, and we have some really spectacular plans. Kevin, what if I told you that the new middle school would have a weight room that looked like that, a center for applied design where middle school students could study engineering, a culinary center, a band room, a new athletic center, and a music production lab?
If you said that, are you saying if you said that to
Yeah,
me?
if I said that to you,
You talking to me? I would say that's incredible. It's awesome. I'd say it would probably become the best middle school in the universe.
Universe is pretty big. So I thought it was a really innovative...
Maybe we get Elon Musk to take us on a field trip
Right.
in SpaceX to go see some of that stuff.
Yeah, see if it's better than that middle school on Mars, right?
Yeah, no more field
I
trips.
thought it was a really innovative concept for our design team, our architects, to look and say, hey, we can take the current high school, and for fractions of what it would cost to build a new middle school, we could really make it into one of the most innovative schools in the country. So as we look and think about the new middle school, which is a high school, and Cindy's already working on some of those things, but we want to renovate the hallways and to make them into learning areas, to make the classrooms open, to get some visibility into those, also add new furniture, work on the media center. So some of those things we can start now before the high school students leave. And then in 2026, wouldn't it be something when it looks like this?
Who's next?
I would say yes. It
Yes,
would be
Matt.
something if it looks like this.
Oh, it's right here. Yes, it would, Matt.
And so just quickly to review the middle school plan, phase 1 is existing building renovations. If you've ever met Kyle McCartney, he does not sit still long, and so he is always working to improve the opportunities for his students and teachers. So we're going to work on putting innovative and flexible furniture in middle school classrooms, upgrading the lighting in those classrooms, but also making those classrooms more future-friendly, as we say. And then the second is the conversion of the former high school. So that will take place, all that will take place over the next few years. And then if you look at the proposed middle school plan, it's just really exciting. If I had an elementary student right now and I thought, what's it going to look like when they're in high school? I mean, when they're in the new high school, which is a middle school, look at the STEAM lab that's projected. But also we still have the Volkert Center for Applied Design, the Hangout Music Lab, the gymnasiums, the weight rooms, but we even have language areas so we can continue our focus on foreign languages. The possibilities are really endless.
Pretty incredible. You know, after 16 months that this core team was working, the vision for a new Gulf Shores High School vision crystallized for us. We knew that we want the new Gulf Shores High School to be a landmark for the community. We wanted it to symbolize the progressive vision of the leaders of Gulf Shores, and we wanted it to be a commitment community-wide to our small town. The new campus will house academics, athletics, fine arts, performing arts, outdoor and educational education. The goal is to implement a sustainable design, much in the theory of Gulf Place and the Lodge, to blend with natural landscape, preserve the existing wetlands, utilize outdoor space for learning, and bring outdoor light into the building. We learned from our experts that natural light and clean air plays such an important and vital role in the ability for a student to learn and to gain knowledge is such important. And as you can see from these conceptual designs that we're going to try to incorporate as much natural light as we can.
They're not really supposed to be able to tell yet. I mean, if they have not good eyesight, they're not going to see that from the back. So we're going to show them a full picture in just a minute, right? So let's talk about the site layout, because that's a really important part of any master plan and any campus is how do you lay it out. So you want to talk about it?
Yeah, you know, our design team was truly thrilled when we told them through generous donations that we have a 200-acre site to design the new Gulf Shores High School complex. And they were thrilled. And they felt it was absolutely, you know, the Mayor Craft, the City Council, they dedicated this acreage to a new Gulf Shores High School. At first we were talking about a portion of it, maybe 30 or 40 acres up in the north. And then they said, if we're going to do this right, use it all. So that's just an incredible commitment from our city leaders. Let's hear it for them, please. Our design team felt it was imperative that they schematically lay everything out on the site to make sure all our needs, wants, and dreams could all fit on this site without disturbing the wetlands and the natural habitat that is so important to us here in Gulf Shores. So that's what you see here. Keep in mind, Gary, this is a conceptual view, okay? We had to know first that all the pieces of the puzzle could fit on the canvas that's been provided. So that's what you see right here, Matt.
Yeah, so for those of you looking, this is Coastal Gateway Boulevard right here, and then this is a Foley Beach Express. And so the campus is kind of laid out sideways so we could put it on the screen, but north is going that way in this picture.
Let's talk about the northern end of it.
Yeah, let's do. So the northern end of the campus, again, Coastal Gateway, Foley Beach Express, we call that the academic end. So it contains the high school and the athletics, which includes gymnasiums, fine arts, which would include band room, music labs, a theater. So we really like the layout of the high school being in that upper northeast corner. And we also like how it's just proposed, but how traffic flow would go. And then they squeeze the football stadium into that as well. So we really like the layout of the north side. And then the south side, so we're just divided in half. The south side also is a rendering of what the athletic complex could look like. And so we envision that everything's a partnership with the city. So we envision that as being something that is shared facilities with the city. So really excited about the potential on this property.
You know, Matt, athletic experts in education, Coach Mark Hudspeth, everybody that we talked to said having these competitive sports on campus was huge when it came to school spirit and culture within the schools. So we're going to do our very best to get softball, baseball, soccer, tennis, football, all on site here within this 200-acre site, so that when you can stay after school, Coach Tubbs, you'll be excited, kids can stay after school, practice, and then go watch their colleagues in competition right there in our competition gyms, and somewhere in there's a wrestling room, right? Right? Okay. Well, I hate to quit the core team, but we need a wrestling room. But it's so exciting, and all this is coming to fruition, and it's very exciting.
And Kevin, I'm going to go off script for just a mention, because you mentioned the other Kevin.
There's a script?
Yeah. Kevin Tubbs is our system-wide athletic director, and the reason Kevin is here is because he was absolutely the best applicant for the job. But the reason we have the job is because the city leaders came to us and said, we want our athletic director, or want an athletic director that focuses on every sport: football, soccer, wrestling, softball, tennis. Kevin, you're doing a great job, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, so this is a moment.
Nope, I'm going off script now. You know, Coach Tubbs has a women's high school background, quite significantly, as well as male athletes as well. But you know, when we inherited Gulf Shores High School, when we went and visited the locker rooms and we saw what was there, women athletes were actually dressing in their cars. When there was a competitive male event on scene, everything that was on the women's side got cannibalized. We went in and took whatever that was, 10,000 square foot. We divided it right down the middle with the help of Walcott Adams, GMC, and our design team. We took it right down the middle, and I don't know the exact numbers, but if there's 5,102 square feet for men, there's 5,102 square feet for women. We created locker rooms that never existed, cheer, JV volleyball, all these type of things, and we're going to continue that equipment because we know, actually today is International Women's Day, so we are so improved and so impressed with what Coach Tubbs has done. Thank you again. You won't find that anywhere in your program, by the way.
All right, so are you going to click or am I going to click?
Let's click together. All right, here's a conceptual rendering of Gulf Shores High School. What do you think, folks? I can tell you when the core team first saw these renderings, just like you, we thought, wow, that truly incorporates all the important elements that we envisioned. Lots of natural light, which we've discussed. to enhance learning. Open outdoor learning environments. Outdoor travel pass when the weather is permissive. Collaboration areas, flex space, laboratories, performing arts, athletics, everything that you can imagine that we want in a high school incorporates in this design. And does it not seem to match the culture and character of Gulf Shores perfectly? Now keep in mind, I'm supposed to give a disclaimer here. This may not be exactly what it looks like, but this is our focus.
Conceptual rendering, right?
You just wanted to say conceptual, didn't you?
Right.
I take that from my indigenous.
Right.
So this is what we're talking about. This has got so many things going for it, and there is a lot. We went past a master plan, actually. The design team, even though we asked them to go to a master plan stage, they took it further, and they started talking about what the design could look like. We learned so much in Phoenix and in Kansas City and in Joplin. We toured 450,000 square foot high schools, handling 2,500 students. And we came back with the best and brightest ideas from each of them, and that resulted in this conceptual rendering you see before you right now.
So this is just kind of the same angle, close-up view. And Kevin, just like you, it's really important to this community, I think, that this building blends with the natural environment, blends with the built environment. But just like you said, to me, when I see this building, I think Gulf Shores. And so it really, really, really captured what we thought.
And it blends with the environment so well.
So this is the last rendering, again, conceptual rendering, but it gives me the opportunity to once again thank our design team, DLR, GMC, Walcott Adams, Volkert. Would y'all please stand? Did great work.
Matt, when we hired that team, we had presentations from architects all around the country to bring to it. And with Walcott Adams, we have the local flair based right here on the Eastern Shore. GMC throughout the Southeast has a name that's recognized, and dozens of impressive, not just at the high school level, but at the collegiate level. They've done so much work. And DLR is world-renowned for their designs. They have won so many awards for innovative and collaborative design of schools. So that team put together, and they work like a team. We're so excited of everything they've done for us.
We are. It's a great team and just a great partnership between that design team and our school system and our city.
And don't forget, where's Stan Winter? I saw him here earlier. Stan keeps everybody in line. He says, whoa, that may not be as practical as you think it is. So Volkert with construction management plays a huge role in everything the city does, and we're grateful, Stan, for you and your group for all they've done. And just yesterday, we cut the ribbon on the Applied Center for Design engineered by Volkert.
Yes. Great day yesterday.
Pretty cool. It was a good day. So, Matt, that's not only an impressive, but it's an aggressive 10-year master plan. It really is. Don't you all think that that's got a lot packed into a short period of time? So it took 16 months to get to this point. I'm guessing we're waiting 2 to 3 years to kick the ball. We're going to get started in a couple years.
So, Kevin, a 10-year master plan doesn't mean we start in 10 years. It means we finish in 10 years. And so we're going to start immediately. So our timeline is we think in the next month that we will have a design team of architects under contract that will start designing the new high school. And at the same time, after beginning the design process, as soon as practical, you'll see site assessment and preparation going on at the site where the high school will be. And then, as I mentioned earlier, STEAM Edition is almost finished, and then the elementary edition, we're going to have a design team under contract really quickly so we can start construction by the beginning of the school year. So hopefully we get that finished by the end of next school year.
Well, as long as we're going off script, you've recently introduced something along with Dr. Harrison, and that is Tuesday tours. And we're starting when? The 15th, is that right? Stephanie's going to be the first one. We're limiting to 50 folks. We're going to start at the elementary school.
Dr. Early, next is the 15th, next Tuesday, right? Tuesday.
And Frank Malone, board member, is going to be on hand for that.
We are doing Tuesday tours on Tuesday. I got that right.
He's a math guy, don't forget that. But we're going to start that. We limit it to 50 people so that we can manage it and not disrupt the learning day too much. But are they going to have an opportunity to go into see the STEAM extension as well on that day? Yes. Well, you're going to get a sneak peek of one of the most exciting and collaborative areas for an elementary school you've ever seen. So all that's available. I would like to remind you that gsboe.org is, first of all, everybody's email address, first initial, last name, K. Corcoran, M. Aiken, @gsboe.org. And you can reach the whole board at one time by doing that as well, by board@gsboe.org. We're here to hear your input. We're here to hear your thoughts on tonight, what you saw, what you liked, what you didn't like. We really want to hear it because we can only get better with your input. But it's exciting times for Gulf Shores City Schools. And Matt, I don't know what you might have in closing, but I'd like to thank everybody that was here tonight, so many stakeholders, and we're so impressed with the turnout. We're glad you were here. Please tell those that weren't that we are videoing the process tonight, and in the near future when that gets finished and produced, we'll be putting that online so you can revisit it again.
So one group I'd like to thank, there's actually a couple. One is there's a group of young men in Gulf Shores, Alabama who have a company named Future Astronaut. Pretty cool name, right? Future Astronaut made this possible 3 years ago. So this screen costs like $1 million or something, I think. It really doesn't cost that much, but they came in for practically nothing and set the screen up so we wouldn't have to present on a screen and you and I be on the floor and nobody be able to see. So thanks, Future Astronaut, for your support of Gulf Shores City Schools and the City of Gulf Shores. And then Matt McKinney and Joey Drews spent almost all day with us in here. So Matt, we appreciate it. Joey, we appreciate your dedication.
And Grant Brown working the handles in the background. Everything that happens, our city is so cooperative and so collaborative. We're very appreciative of Mayor Kraft and all of your staff, just the finest. I see we have law enforcement here tonight. We see first responders. I saw the fire chief here. He's back there in the corner. So many folks here. We're so grateful for the city we live in. And for so long, we have heard from residents that we focus so much on our summer visitors. We focus so much on those things. What about us? I wanted to call this project Operation 365 for those of us that live here 365 days a year. But now you are seeing a tremendous paradigm shift in the City Council that they are focusing so much. They're going to improve infrastructure. We're talking about a justice center. We're talking about fire training. We're talking about the very best opportunities. And Mayor Kraft and the council will tell you that education is first and foremost in all of those things that we do. So our children are going to experience the very best. Let's hear it once again for our community leaders.
And for parents, for teachers, especially for kids, it's a great time to be in Gulf Shores City Schools. It really is. I've worked in 2 other school systems, and I was continually begging for help. You don't beg for help in Gulf Shores. They come to you and say, Matt, what do you need? Stephanie, what do you need? Alicia, what do you need? So it's a great time to be a student. It's a great time to be a community member in Gulf Shores, and I am so thankful to be here.
And I think Noel Hand only has 2 words in his vocabulary, and it's on it. You ask Noel to address something, his response is on it, which means he's on it, and it'll be done probably before the end of the day or as soon as humanly possible. Noel, thank you for all you do for the city schools. Thank you again for being here. We hope you enjoyed the presentation, and let's go out there and
make waves!